Imagine if there was one thing that you could do, one daily habit, that if you were to do this for the rest of your life, you would lose weight, get to your goal, and then be able to keep it off. Since 2020, I've tested hundreds of different actions and inputs and habits for thousands of different women to try and see what is going to be that one thing that will always lead to results, not just in the short term, but long term as well. The consistent number one thing we found was shocking, and that is that if you binge, if you eat pizza, if you struggle with staying consistent with your steps, if you don't exercise, most likely you will continue to lose weight as long as you eat 1 to 2 pounds of veggies every day. Obviously, you're going to optimize if you do everything else at once, but this is the biggest habit when it comes to long-term weight loss, and it's the first place to start if you want to actually lose weight and keep it off. Eat a load of veggies. So what I want to do in this video is I want to show you how and why that works, and then give you some action steps to get started so you can start seeing the results yourself. And by the way, this is the thing that changed for me and helped me to lose 40 pounds and now actually maintain that. So why the heck does this work? Well, we need to understand weight loss 101, which is that a calorie deficit always leads to fat loss. Every single diet that works because of a calorie deficit, which means that you are eating less calories than you consume, which is what forces your body to eat away at those stored fat cells, which over time just depletes them down. So non-starchy vegetables like broccoli are super low in calories, but they have a lot of bulk. So when we eat more of them, we push out some of those higher calorie elements and we lower the average calories that we eat. And non-starchy vegetables are things like broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, snap peas, capsicum, asparagus, mushrooms, zucchini, onion, garlic, green beans, and eggplant, and many, many other things as well. They do not include things like potatoes, or corn or peas, which are considered starchy vegetables. I want to hear in the comments, what is your favorite non-starchy vegetable? You probably know that vegetables are low in calories, but I'm going to suggest that there are 3 laws that maybe you don't know about veggies and why they are so magical for fat loss. And I'm going to call these the 3 laws of veggie dynamics. So buckle up for some science of chows. The first law of veggie dynamics is that the energy of a veggie is always less than the energy of a non-veggie. Which is basically a funny way of saying that veggies have less calories than any other food on the planet. Not only do some foods have more calories than others, some foods have vastly more calories. We have this massive scale when it comes to calorie density, which is the amount of calories in any weight of food. I want to show you an example of what this looks like. Check out these 5.5 kilos of broccoli. This is 14 heads of broccoli here, and it works out to about a day's worth of calories for most women who want to be in a weight loss phase. So about 1,800 calories. There's over 11 pounds of broccoli. The crazy thing is that those 14 heads of broccoli are the same amount of calories as these 34 Oreos. This is a day's worth of calories, and it's not even the weight of an entire meal. And this 34 Oreos at 1,800 calories is less than a pound of food. So this is going to fill up your stomach maybe once, whereas the broccoli is going to fill up your stomach 14 times, and it's going to be impossible for you to eat that much in a day. To eat 2 heads of broccoli in a day is a stretch for most people. Case in point, when it comes to losing weight, what we eat is far more important than how much of it we eat. Non-starchy vegetables are approximately 100 calories per pound. The Oreos have a calorie density of over 2,000 calories per pound, whereas the broccoli is 150 calories per pound. So the more vegetables we eat, the more we can lower our overall calories. But maybe you're thinking, well, even if I was to eat more vegetables, I'd still eat those 34 Oreos or something else that was high in calories. Well, this brings us to the second law of veggie dynamics, and it's going to sound complicated, but I will explain it. The calories consumed when eating 1 to 2 pounds of vegetables per day will be equal to half the regular calories consumed plus 100 to 300 calories. Now let me explain. The maths on this is so flippin' exciting. So we typically eat a similar volume or weight of food every single day. So for whatever that looks like for you as an individual, if you eat a lot of food or if you eat a smaller amount of food, you're gonna be pretty consistent in that amount. And that's normally 3 to 4 pounds or 3 to 5 pounds of food every single day. And if you've ever tried to eat less food or portion control, you've probably seen that you'll normally revert back to your normal amounts very, very quickly, because that's where you like to sit. But your 4 pounds of food could be 400 calories if it was this, and don't do this by the way, you can't just eat vegetables, or it could be 10,000 calories if you were eating something super high in calories, like a ton of Oreos, Ben & Jerry's, chips, some beer, and a few other things in there. It's not actually that hard to do. And I want to know, have you ever asked this question? and that is, how many calories should I be eating for fat loss? Sorry, but that's actually the wrong question to be asking. The right question is, how do I predictably lower my calories from whatever my starting point is right now? Because the overall average of calories that you eat now has led to where your body is today. That's just thermodynamics. It's calories in, calories out. So if you want to get into a fat loss phase, you just need to lower that number from whatever it is today. You don't actually have to know it. And knowing it adds its own sense of problems, because it's going to be different on different days. It might be different on the weekend. It might be different when you have a binge. So some hypothetical number doesn't actually help you to change your behavior. In fact, you can go look right now at a calorie calculator and find out how many calories you are meant to eat. But that doesn't mean that you are going to eat that many. So here's a visual of that law that I just described. Let's use this circle to represent your daily calories, however many calories you currently eat. Let's say that that is 3,000 calories a day, right? And for this example, let's say you eat 4 pounds per day. Put a little @ symbol there. So we're going to split this day into two. We're going to say the first half is 1,500 calories, and then the second half is 1,500 calories. And let's say now you add 2 pounds of broccoli to your day. You're already going to have 2 pounds of whatever else you're eating, but those other 2 pounds are going to be made up of broccoli. And we know that a head of broccoli is about 150 calories. So by subtracting half of what you're currently doing and then adding in half veggies, now you've got 300 calories instead of 1,500 calories. So this takes your day from being 3,000 calories at 4 pounds of food to 1,800 calories, which is 1,500 plus 300. And this is very similar if you've heard of the 50-50 plate method, but why I like this better is that it's based on something more concrete than just you visualizing how much food you're eating. Because if you put half a plate of lettuce, that's only going to add like 100 grams of food, a tiny amount, where it's not going to really influence how much else you eat during the day. Whereas weight of veggies does. And it doesn't matter how many calories you specifically eat in a day or you need in a day. The moment you start adding in more vegetables, the math always works out that you are significantly lowering your calories. And this not only works conceptually, but it works in practice as well. Not only for myself, but thousands of other people. It is the same concept that people like Chef AJ or the Ultimate Weight Loss Starch Program use. It is the same thing that anyone who is predictably lowering calories is using. If you look at any fitness influencer online, they typically eat a ton of vegetables, and this is the reason for that. The bonus part is that you are going to feel more full and satisfied because you're not cutting portions. You can even add more bulk to your diet and lower the calories because this is so weighty but so low in calories. Third law of veggie dynamics is that the consistency of veggie consumption is going to be directly correlated to the deliciousness of the veggie in question and how easy it is to prepare. In other words, make your veggie eating habit easy and enjoyable so that you actually follow through and do it. So choose veggies that you actually like and then also prepare them in a way that tastes good. Don't try and eat tons of raw broccoli. Cook it, steam it, add a little bit of vegan cheese sauce, add a little bit of hummus, add some salt and pepper, add some chili flakes, add veggies to all your other meals. The easiest veggies to get are ones that don't actually require any cooking or prep. Think carrot chips, which you can get at Sprouts and I think like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. Think things like snap peas. They don't require any cooking. You can just eat them raw. Things like cherry tomatoes, green beans, baby cucumbers, baby capsicum, really anything that is going to be super easy for you to grab and go. The bonus part of those veggies in particular that I just mentioned is that they have the weights on the bag. So if you're trying to eat more veggies in a week, let's say you're trying to eat 7 pounds, 1 pound of veggies every day, all you need to do when you go to the supermarket, if you're shopping for the week, is just mix and match veggies, buy 1 pound packets and put them in your trolley and then you're good to go. My go-to vegetable is broccoli. And a big reason for that is that I can't get those other veggies very easily in New Zealand, but it's also one of the most nutrient dense vegetables, which is why I like to eat it. I find it more filling than some of those other ones. So you can play around a little bit and see what works for you. The way that I make this easy is that I use my trusty broccoli steamer. And it means all I have to do is rip off the florets, cook it for 6 minutes with a little bit of water, and then it's always ready to go. So with all of that being said, how do you actually put it into practice? Well, here are your action steps from this video. Build a habit around eating a lot of veggies. Start with intentionally adding 1 pound of veggies to your meals every single day. You don't need to go 2. 2 is overkill for most people as a beginning. 1 is an amazing place to start. I like to do this as a side at lunch and dinner. so that I'm eating about half a pound at lunch and then half a pound at dinner. And if I do this every day, then I'm eating my 1 pound. And I typically eat more than this as well. How I eat more than this is I do my second action step, which is build a habit of adding a ton of vegetables if you're cooking a recipe. If you're making a creamy carbonara, add a ton more broccoli. If you're making a lasagna, add those tomatoes and onions that I talked about. If you're making a risotto, add a ton of leek. Anytime you read a recipe, if it doesn't have enough vegetables, and I would aim for at least half in terms of visual volume, then add more. Just double what's already there, or add whatever you have in your fridge. Play around with it. It's not actually that hard. And number 3 is to buy those pre-prepared ingredients as much as possible. You do not get brownie points for buying all of the fancy veg in the supermarket and then letting it rot in your fridge because it was too hard to eat. Make this easy for yourself. Get the things that are snackable, add them as a side to your lunch or use them as snacks throughout the day. Don't try and be perfect, just do what is going to be easiest. This veggie eating habit is the number one thing, like I said, that has helped me to lose 40 pounds. But not only that, it is a safeguard that keeps me consistent enough to maintain that. So that even when my habits slip a little bit, even if I was to eat a bit of pizza, I'm still got my veggies in there as well. And this is the thing that gives me so much confidence that regardless of what happens in my life, I will be able to maintain my weight loss because I have this as such a solid habit. Don't make weight loss more complicated than it needs to be. It's lowering calories and you can do this by upping veggies. I'm not here to gatekeep. This is truly how simple it is. Now you just got to go and implement it consistently. All right, that's it from me today, and I'll see you next week in another video. Bye.